So anyway, I have this screen up, and I wanted to show you what I entered. So VHS Massacre 2 is a follow-up to the VHS Massacre film, and what I did is a pretty big pivot from how I usually tackle film festivals. Um, for the last 20 years, I've been entering my feature-length films into film festivals. VHS Massacre 2 is my 10th feature film. And so after and also I've been a producer on 20 different features, including John Krasinski's first film, A New Wave, directed by Jason Carvey. I've directed Aubrey Plaza in one of her first digital shorts called Daddy's Little Judge, and even was part of an Emmy-nominated show network produced by Black 20. Um, so I've been around for a while, and although I've been in things like the Houston Film Festival and California Indie Fest and um, Filmmakers New York. I've never broken into any of those top 10 festivals, and at this point, I'm pretty convinced that unless you know someone really well over at that festival, or unless you have a really powerful agent, a really powerful representation which can kind of force you through the system, the odds of you getting into something like Sundance is very low. So something like 14,000 films a year get entered into Sundance, and they're only going to be able to play 300-400 of those. So if you do the math on it, it's really bad. I decided I'm not going to do that anymore, and so usually when you're entering festivals, one of the ideas that I was taught is to make a list of three tiers of film festivals. The first tier of film festival would be a top tier. So you're going to enter Sundance, Slam Dance, Toronto, Cannes. You're going to do Tribeca. You're going to do Telluride, South by Southwest. You're going to do all those top 10 and the hopes that you really, honestly, it's like playing the lotto with those. But you do it because it's your dream. And you do it because, most independent filmmakers don't direct that many features. So if you're going to do it, you're going to go all the way. So you end up entering those top 10. The second tier are the city film festivals. And some of those city film festivals are in a gray area of top and middle, But that can be anything from, name it. San Francisco Film Festival, that is a top 10. Chicago, Boston, New York, every city is going to have one of the larger city festivals. And those are also a long shot, but it's possible. They're actually depending on what specific city, they may be looking out for lower budget or exploitation genre films, things like that. So it is possible. The third tier is typically like festivals that you think you might have a good shot of getting into or potentially even winning, and that includes contests as well. They're not even necessarily that much smaller than city festivals, and some are city festivals, but they have a good reputation. They play a lot of films, or they give out more awards than just a handful, and so they're very respectable, but maybe they're not quite as large as some of the other ones. So what I decided to do is, this movie is a sequel, a follow-up to a VHS documentary. And the only reason why I did this documentary is because the first one did so well. And when you have something that does well in the film industry, you want to play to your strengths, because at some point it's as if you figured out something. Oh, VHS Massacre did well. Great. I talked to Trauma. I was like, do you want another one? They're like, yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make this. So the idea that this weird sequel would somehow get into like Sundance, it's just the possibility becomes so ridiculously low that it seems like, why bother? So this is my go for broke film festival list of stuff I've entered. This is I went for all festivals that respect exploitation, that respect underground and low budget, and they know what I'm trying to do and where I'm coming from. So the festival list is really handpicked to what your film is, and really that's what you should be doing from the get go. The reason why this works is because you make a movie called VHS Massacre, you very clearly know where it's going to be entered. So it's not going to be playing out in the Hamptons, right? So, Impact Doc Awards, that's a contest. I'm all about the film contest too, because I'm 42. I work full time teaching at a community college. I have a 5-month-old daughter and a wife, and the idea that I'm going to be globe-trotting to go to film festivals is just not realistic. So the other thing, too, is at a certain age, you got to get a little realistic about what you're going to be able to do. Doesn't mean I can't go to some of these, but it's going to cut down on some of the things I want to do. So you're just a little smarter with your time. Okay, San Diego Underground Film Festival. Okay, so I'm not entering I'm not entering the Los Angeles Film Festival or California Film Festival, right? I'm entering San Diego Underground. So underground, the term underground obviously implies that they're going to be looking for edgier content, and VHS Massacre deals exactly with that, about films that have pushed the limits and films that have gone too far. So it doesn't mean they'll take it, but it's a decent shot. Venice Film Week, they play films every week. So, and they play genre films sometimes. So I'm thinking, okay, if they're playing films every week, then they might need a lot of content. And they do. They play a lot of films. So that's the point, is that because it's weekly, you maybe have a better chance statistically of getting into that. Kansas City Underground, they are also into low budget and exploitation. And then you have Los Angeles Underground Film Forum. So you see, these are sort of city festivals, but they all tend to be, underground or genre. Look, Underground Indie Fest, Grindsploitation, Spirit of Independence. This is a British film festival, and it was amazing because I submitted the film and they immediately got back to me and they're like, "Hey, I saw your film. I really liked it. Thanks for entering the second one." They said we haven't judged anything and it's totally up in the air, but thanks for submitting. So, but it was personalized and the guy had seen my films. Bare Bones have been they've been playing my films for years, for since I was 21. So for over 20 years, the Bare Bones Film Festival, run by Oscar and Sharon Butterfly is her name, run by that couple, and they've just been like saints. So Bare Bones is a really good one if you want to. If you enter the film, if you get in, it's this Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's a beautiful town. They take over the whole town. There's an old Roxanne Theater, I think it's called. It's gorgeous. It feels like Park City. A little smaller, obviously, but I have very fond memories of Bare Bones. And it was well attended, too, LA Film Festival, I looked at it. It's not an exact match, but it was. It looked like they did dig some low budget and exploitation. Miami International Sci-Fi Film Festival. They had been playing more docs recently, and I'm a big fan of Troy Burnett and Eric Swain, who did this. They were featured in this documentary called what was it? Journey to Planet X. It's a really good documentary about two scientists who make sci-fi films as a hobby, and they started this film festival. It's a monster festival. It's right in Miami, gorgeous beaches, like you can't ask for more. And being from New York, I've gone to that festival twice. It's not such a huge deal. You fly out to Miami for cheap, and you just go. Independent Horror Awards. This is another awards contest, which is great. I have no issue with online contests or just contests in general with award shows and all that stuff. It's possible that we could do something there. I mean, the film's got Joe Bob Briggs, who's had this huge comeback from the last drive-in on Shudder. Genre Blast, they seem to play quirky films. Canada's yes, let's make a movie. The odds of getting in a Canadian film festival, I'm actually not sure about, but Canada has made some really great exploitation films. I think of Hobo with a Shotgun, or I think even Turbo Kid was shot in Canada, and then Wolf Cop, and I think Father's Day was from a Canadian. I think what was it called, Astron 6 or something. Anyway, so Canada's actually done. They've created some great exploitation, oddly funded partly by the government, because the government will actually bankroll independent filmmakers that give them a little money or do matching funds, or so in result, some of these weirder, quirkier films actually look and sound great, and so Canada seems to do right by their filmmakers to some degree. Horror Hound is a famous magazine, and I just figured, what the hell. I think some of our films used to get, like Mark of the Beast, I think, and maybe Land of College Prophets. Some of the older horror films I did were featured in Horror Hound and Fangoria and Rue Morgue, so figured why not. Indie Fest Film Awards and Accolade are both online film contests. They've been around for, I think, 20 years. And they do give out a lot of awards, but the top awards are harder to get, so you're always aiming for those top awards. And at the end of the day, these two tend to be voted. There's always these lists of top 50 most worth the entry fee, and you can interpret that in many different ways. But it's like, what gives you the biggest bang for your buck? What are the odds that you might get into the contest or screen or maybe even win something? So the good thing about Accolade and Indie Fest is that they give out multiple awards, and so it's really about quality. If they think something is very high quality, you might get an award, and that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with that, because they don't give out awards to things that are not good. But it's better than something like your standard film festival, where they may give out 10 awards the whole show. They may play 300 films and give out 10 awards. So, it's nice to do some of these contests, because statistically you might do okay. Toronto Independent Film Awards, again, it's a long shot because it's Canada. But, at this point, I've given up on the top 10 festivals. But what I'm starting to do are trying to piggyback on smaller festivals that run at the same time that are similar cities. So you see Toronto Independent, you saw what was it, San Diego Underground, Telluride Horror Show, right? So it's not the Telluride Festival, but it's at it's in Telluride, and it comes around it's the same time, the same area. So years ago, you could say that's kind of like how there was Sundance and then Slamdance, but unfortunately, Slamdance now is just as big as Sundance, so it's very similar. They may get 10,000 films, and it would be really hard for you to get in. So, but anyway, Toronto Independent Film Awards, I did a little research, found out how many awards they gave out, what genres they would take. It was worth trying. And I don't think the entry fee was too expensive. That's the other thing, too. Some of these entry fees are, a little less expensive than others. Bloody Horror International Film Festival. So Bloody Horror, they I think it's from the affiliated with the magazine Bloody Horror, which is the website rather Bloody Horror, and they're it's a pretty good brand. Um, I can show you some of the websites. So let's see, Telluride Independent Horror Show. Yeah. So obviously I'm using here. Let's go a few of these Impact Doc Awards. So bring that up. Yeah, so you could look through some of these documentaries, or you might be familiar with. Um, San Diego Underground. Yeah. So you want to go through, make sure that they have a functional website and it looks like they're sort of quasi legit. The thing is, a lot of these I know already. Like, so for something like Bare Bones, which the website's fine, but if whatever they might have lacked in the website, there, you can do research on the festivals outside of Film Freeway and see which ones work well. Here's one: South Texas Underground. I don't. I took a chance on it. My hope is that they're big Joe Bob Briggs. Joe Bob's a Texas guy, and my hope is that they're big fans of Joe Bob Briggs, and also maybe Trauma. So that's where I'm thinking. Try that one. Toronto Independent Film Awards. Let's look at that. This is interesting. It's a guy shooting holes in a car.
We at TIFA are here to help.
So he shoots the car full of holes, and you see TIFA. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So this is what I'm. This is the film series I'm playing in called New Filmmakers New York, and the thing is, Anthology Film Archives plays the New Filmmakers New York films, and it's a good venue. It's a nice theater, and New Filmmakers though also has Los Angeles. They have New Filmmakers Los Angeles and all these different things. So another one, World Fest Houston's is one of my favorite ones. So World Fest, I entered, I think, my first 3 or 4 films, and I never got in. So it's Houston's major film festival. It's one of the I think it's maybe the second oldest in the United States. And so you could actually argue that it would be top tier, but it's a great festival. And anyway, so when I entered my other films, Everything Moves Alone, Land of College Prophets, I never gotten anything. It wasn't till Mark of the Beast, which I think was in, I don't know, maybe 2012, that actually won the highest award. It's called the Platinum Remy, and it's so Mark of the Beast was a horror film, but it was based upon a Rudyard Kipling short story, and it had Ellen Muth from Dead Like Me Showtime series, and Debbie Rochon from Toxic Avenger, Return to Nukem High, and Romeo and Juliet. And so they really dug it. It was a morality tale. It's an anti-torture film. So eventually I got into this, but it took a long time. Like, it took whatever that is, 15 years or something. But when I entered VHS Massacre after that, they liked that one too, and So now it seems to be a possibility that they'll either play my film or I'll get an award. So anyway, that's what I'm doing with the film festivals.